I mean, look at the meters. Look at the meters. We are way lower in terms of peaks, way lower. But the mix, what a difference. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a really special one because today I'm checking out a fully analog master bus processor that I honestly think you should pay attention to even if you don't own a single piece of analog gear yet. So today we're checking out the X-Maxx by Elysia, and this box might just be one of the best entry points into analog processing, but not only that, it offers a level of quality that I've only seen in analog gear that costs 4 times the price. So let's talk about it. The first time I heard the X-Maxx was at the Elysia booth this past January at NAMM, and honestly, after just 20 minutes of playing around with it, I could already tell this was a killer piece of gear. So back then, I asked the lovely people at Elysia to send me a unit so I can make a video on it, and it took a while, but the X-Maxx just landed in my studio a few days ago. The X-Maxx is a master bus processor, and it can actually do several things. First, it's a multi-band compressor that lets you control the low end, the mids, but also the sides independently. If you've been following my channel or if you've taken any of my mastering courses, you know how much I love mid-side compression. I honestly believe it's one of the secret weapons for creating big, wide, powerful masters. So stick around, because if you've ever been curious about adding analog gear to your setup, the X-Maxx might just be the perfect place to start. And of course, if you have loads of analog gear like I do, the X-Maxx delivers something that I haven't been able to find in any processor that I've ever had in the studio. Let's jump straight into the examples. I'm going to start with a modern pop track because I know that many of you want to hear what the X-Maxx can do on materials like this. And I want to start with a very demanding track. This is going to be a pop heavy 808 track, and I want to see how the X-Maxx is going to perform on this.
To nail it, and you don't have to be so low-key, baby, you need to fake it until you make it. You know that you can never fail me. You only got one life to nail it, and you don't have to be so low-key, baby, you need to fake it until you make it. Faint hustle, you know that you can never fail me. You only got one life to nail it.
And for the entirety of this test, I want you to pay attention to the levels that I have set right here in supervision, and also the waveform. I have these on all the time so that you can see actually how impressive the X-Maxx is and how the peaks are not louder, but the perceived loudness has increased dramatically. I'm going to do it again, check it out, and then I'm going to start explaining the controls.
To nail it, and you don't have to be so low-key, baby, you need to fake it until you make it. You know that you can never
I mean, this is insane. You can see that the peaks are the same. I would argue that the X-Maxx is even quieter on peaks, but the perceived loudness, it's undeniably louder. It feels fuller, it feels much bigger as a mix, and this is what the X-Maxx excels at. Let's try a track from Couch Poets, one of the artists I work with. I love this track. Let's play it and see what X-Maxx can do.
for the moon.
gonna go for a completely different track now, and this is a track that has a very big crest factor. It's one of the tracks that are very challenging, and I also show you how to master with situations like this on my mastering masterclasses. So let's see what the Elysia XMAX can do on a track like this. I'm going to turn it off for a second, and I'm going to start dialing in the sound. Now let me explain the three bands, because many people might think that this is low, mids and highs, and that's not the case with the XMAX. It's actually much better and much more usable, if you ask me. So the first band is the low band, and this is the band that contains the low frequencies. And you can set the frequencies that this low band is going to affect using the X frequency knob right here. So you can go all the way from 40 Hz to 470 Hz. Now, one tip I want to give you is try and avoid a frequency where your snare is at. So for example, if your snare is at 150, 140, don't set this cut frequency right there. That's not just for the XMAX, by the way. This is for every multi-band processor. I would avoid having the crossover of the bands where an important element of the mix is, like the snare or the kick drum or even a very important synth. The next band is the mid band, and this contains the rest of the frequencies that remain from the low band, so the mids and the highs, but it doesn't contain the side information. And the side information, I've talked about this many times on other videos, is basically what gives us the perception of width. It gives us this perception of a 3D mix. It's basically the difference between the left and right channels. And the third band is exactly that. This allows you to compress the side signal. Now, one little trick that I like to do is check what's going on in each band. If you want to have a little bit of an idea of what's going on, you can turn down the gain of the mids and the sides. And let's see what happens with the low one first. Okay, so that gives me a little bit of a magnifying glass on the low end, the low band. See, now I'm just targeting the kick drum. Let's try the mids. The mid signal, so there's no stereo information there. Now let's try the sides. Reverbs, synths, delays. Now, let's bring them all up. And the other control that we have is the time, and this is basically the release of the compressor. What I like to do in order to give a mix a little bit of movement, a little bit of energy, is I want to make sure that these move along with the rhythm of the track. So see, that's a little bit too slow, which could be useful as well. That might be a little bit too fast for my taste for this track. Maybe I would park it here for this track. Basically, what I want to see is that the compressor has enough time to release before the next kick, before the next snare. And the XMAX is definitely a very musical compressor because I can dial in this sound very easily without having to worry too much about what's the exact release time. I can just listen, check out the meters, and it's very easy to dial in the release, which I know many people struggle with. That's why I'm saying this is a great device as your first analog piece of kit. The next control that we have here is the link control, and what this allows you to do is it allows you to have all the compressor bands linked together, which means they're going to compress the same amount. If I have this all the way to 100, this is going to compress equally all the bands, and the band that has the priority is the band that has the most energy. So for example, if you have a very loud kick drum, this is going to trigger all the other 3 compressors, all the other 3 bands. So let's check it out. Now it reacts more to the kick drum and the snare, where when I have it unlinked, the mid compressor is clearly going to react more on the snare and the vocal, and the low band is going to react on the kick drum, and the sides are going to react on the synths. And in my opinion, for most of the part, for a mix, I would keep this link around 0 all the way up to 50%, like 12 o'clock. I wouldn't want to go to 100%, but this is very useful. Later on, I'm going to show you how I use this. And let's move on to this side now, which is a very interesting section, because here we have, of course, our gain. So this is how we can add compensation for the compression that we've added in the previous stage. But we also have this section right here where we have the level, so we can compensate if we want to. We have the S-clip, which is an analog clipper, and this allows you to tame those big peaks really nicely in a very analog way. And when I say analog, I mean a very pleasing way. And then we have the tone control that allows you to add this beautiful sheen for your final mix, or you can make it a little bit more mellow. So if you have something that's overly bright, this control is really effective. Let me show you. I'm going to use both of them right now. The secret with the soft clip, it has a very wide sweet spot, by the way, but is to dial it in and see the meter right here, but mainly listen. You know, it can get crunchy, but it gets crunchy when you really push it, and it can be a very interesting effect. But when you dial it in right, you never hear it, which is exactly what I want from a clipper. I mean, do you understand now why I'm excited? This is insane. Look at the meters. Look at the meters. We are way lower in terms of peaks, way lower. But the mix, what a difference. What a difference. I'm literally blown away. Before I play it again, I want to show you this control here. This is the low-mo, and basically what this does is something that I show in my mastering masterclasses. It's all over the place. I show you these techniques. Low-mo has a high-pass filter for your sides. And this is, for me, the starting point of any mastering. You know, I make sure there's no rumble on the sides. So I always use a mid-side EQ for this. This has it built in. You can tell that this processor has been designed by people that know exactly what they're doing, and they've added these controls, because this could just be a filter for the compressor. It could just be a, I don't know, a sidechain filter, but no, this is actually a filter for your sides. So it filters the sides, which is what I want to do anyway. Now I'm going to try and level match, and let's see what the XMAX actually did. And yes, right now I want to show you what this unit can do, but I would never do something like this on a real mastering or mixing situation. I would never try and level match so meticulously. What I would do, though, is what I would invite you to do right now. Listen to the snare, the punch, the width, the fullness that the mix acquired, even though we're quiet in terms of nominal level. So the true peak for this specific mix is 294 dBs right here on the chorus. Let me reset it. And we're not even hitting that peak. And you can hear the crazy difference that it makes. And of course, if I want to make the mix a little bit more wide, I can just add a little bit of gain to the sides.
You know that you can never fail me. You only got one life to nail it. And you don't have to be so low-key, baby. You need to fake it until you make it. You know that you can never fail me. You only got one life to nail it. And you don't have to be so low-key, baby.
And the tone control, I find it so sweet, so useful. 2 notches and you're good. Right here, I want to talk a little bit about the build quality, and the build quality on this machine is impeccable. Like pretty much everything that Elysia does. Elysia, to my eyes, are the Jaguar, the Aston Martin of analog gear. Everything is perfect, from the finish, the metal construction, even the grills, it all looks amazing. And this unit is made in Germany. So this is something that I value a lot. Not that there's anything wrong with units that are built overseas, nothing wrong with them. But if a unit is built in Germany and if a unit is built by Elysia, you know that you have something that's of impeccable quality. The knobs are also amazing. They are stepped, great for mastering, and they are the classic Elysia style knobs, so really high quality. They feel incredible. There's no wobble. And to be honest with you, it really makes me wonder how they could deliver this kind of sound quality, build quality at this price. I'm going to, of course, have links in the description if you want to check it out. And if you use the links down below, you're also helping out the channel. Now, I know that XMAX is a master bus processor, but I, of course, tried it on other sources as well. And I have to tell you, it works incredibly well. I'm going to turn these acoustic drums into big arena drums. So there you go, my friends, this is the Elysia XMAX. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about it, how do you find it, and of course, I hope you find this video helpful if you already have one of these units already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.